cases of Mann Austin Hayes. Okay, Mr. Hayes has two cases on the docket. There's an aggravated assault family member. This case is, there's been a predetermination of probable cause on the aggravated assault under cause number 1694458. Additionally, there is a murder charge under cause number 1694876. As it relates to the murder charge, can we hear probable cause, please?
Your Honor, one moment, because I don't see the murder charge.
It was added to the docket.
Okay, let me go and find the murder report. One moment, please.
Sure.
Your Honor, we're ready.
Okay, can we hear probable cause, please, on the murder charge under cause number 1694876?
Yes, Your Honor. On Sunday, October 18, 2020, deputies were dispatched to North Cypress Emergency Room located at 26271 Northwest Freeway in Cypress, Harris County, Texas. The Harris County Sheriff's Office dispatch received a 911 call where the caller stated his girlfriend was just shot in the head. The caller stated his girlfriend, later identified as Julie De La Garza, had been shot by her ex-boyfriend, Austin Hayes, the defendant. The caller was later identified as Francisco Gonzalez, the witness. The complainant was life-flighted to Memorial Hermann Hospital in the medical center. The complainant was evaluated by doctors. The complainant had a gunshot wound to the left side of her face. The complainant had catastrophic injuries and would not survive without a ventilator due to spinal cord damage. Officers interviewed the witness, Francisco Gonzalez. He advised that he arrived at the residence and observed a male who he knows by name and sight as Mann Austin Hayes, the defendant, throwing trash into his mom's front yard located at 16139 Little Cypress Lane, Cypress, Texas, in Harris County. The trash was thrown into the witness's yard. It was examined and a Starbucks cup was found with the defendant's name on it. The witness advised he followed the vehicle and observed the vehicle's license plate to be HBL 0924. The witness stated he only observed the defendant inside of the vehicle. The witness advised he was following the defendant. He observed a Cy-Fair ISD police officer in the parking lot of a Forney Elementary School. He pulled in and made contact with the officer, Melinda Wilson, to advise her of the situation. The witness advised he provided the officer with the vehicle license plate and defendant information. The witness left the school. The witness advised as soon as he turned onto Spring Cypress, the complainant stated the defendant was behind them again. The witness advised immediately after the complainant said they were being followed by the defendant, he heard gunfire and then the complainant began bleeding from her cheek. The bullet came through the back window of the vehicle, struck the headrest of the front seat passenger seat, and went into the complainant. The witness advised they were traveling south in the 16,200 block of Spring Cypress Road in Harris County when the shooting occurred. The witness advised the defendant was tailgating them at the time of the shooting. The witness advised he did a U-turn to get away from the defendant. The witness advised he called 911 and traveled to the nearest emergency room. The officer showed the witness a booking photo of the defendant. The witness made a positive identification on Monday, October 19, 2020. The complainant, Julie De La Garza, succumbed to her injuries and passed away. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, as it relates to the murder charge under cause number 1694876, finding probable cause exists. Mr. Hayes, are you a U.S. citizen? Are you requesting a court-appointed attorney? I'm going to ask again, so I just want to make sure I understand you clearly. Are you requesting a court-appointed attorney? All right, thank you. Are you requesting assistance to get your bail set, sir? As it relates to the murder charge, state what is your position as it relates to bail?
Your Honor, the state filed a motion to deny bail. The defendant is accused of a violent crime, a murder. He's currently under the supervision of a state agency. The state notes that the defendant is currently on deferred adjudication for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon in the 179th District Court in Harris County, Texas. And of course, we're opposed to a PR bond, Your Honor. As far as bond conditions, Your Honor, the state requests a GPS monitor, no contact with the witness, Mr. Francisco Gonzalez, no weapons or firearms, no drugs or alcohol, random urinalysis, no violent or threatening contact with the witness, Francisco Gonzalez, no contact with the family of Julie De La Garza, no violent or threatening contact with the family of Julie De La Garza. The state is also requesting house arrest in this instance, Your Honor, with the defendant being allowed to leave his home only for court dates and attorney visits. That's it. Nothing further.
Thank you. Public Defender, what is your position as it relates to bail for the murder charge?
Your Honor, we object to denial of bail, citing Article 1, Section 11A of the Texas Constitution. We would note that Mr. Hayes is not disqualified under 1703 for a personal bond in this case, and we are asking that he be considered as he has $5 currently available in his property and no additional money for bail. We are not opposed to any conditions that the court would feel necessary to protect the community. We would note that Mr. Hayes is not a flight risk. He's surrendered himself in this case. Additionally, he's retained counsel. He is a lifelong resident here in Houston and has reliable means of transportation to court. We're asking for a $35,000 bond in this case. Thank you.
Okay. State, what is your position as it relates to bail on the aggravated assault?
On the aggravated assault case, Your Honor, one moment, please. The state is requesting a bond amount in this case of $200,000, Your Honor. We're opposed to appear on bond, Your Honor. As far as bond conditions, we'd like the same bond conditions as the bond conditions we're requesting in the murder case. Uh, GPS monitoring, no contact with Francisco Gonzalez, no contact with Julie De La Garza's family, no weapons or firearms, no drugs or alcohol, random urinalysis, house arrest with the defendant being allowed to leave only for court dates and attorney visits. Nothing further, Your Honor.
1 second.
And we're opposed to appear on bond.
Okay, public defender, what is your position as it relates to bail on the aggravated assault charge?
I was looking at the aggravated assault, and I guess it was filed before the murder.
Yes, it was filed on 10/19.
So that's the one that's gonna be dismissed by the state later? Is that my understanding correct?
That is not my understanding. That's something the state will consider at
Okay,
a later date, but as it stands, we're proceeding with this case.
in both cases?
Let's see this. Oh, yes, it's an ag assault family member.
I was showing the same complainant in,
Yes, so it will be dismissed, and we're proceeding with the murder.
Okay.
okay.
All right. Okay. So again, looking at the totality of circumstance, so at this point, as it relates to bail, we're only dealing with the murder charge. However, it appears as though Mr. Hayes is currently on probation for an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon charge. This probation began March the 10th of 2020. Additionally, Mr. Hayes is currently on probation for a possession of a controlled substance charge, both out of the 179th District Court, and that probation also started on March the 10th of 2020. So looking at the totality of the circumstances, Mr. Hayes is on probation for a violent crime. He's also on probation for a drug offense. So again, considering the circumstances of the instant case, the court, 1 second here. The court is not going to approve a personal bond. The court is going to set bail at $250,000. As conditions, if Mr. Hayes is able to make bail, as conditions of bail, we will order a GPS monitoring device, no contact with the family of Julie De La Garza, no contact with Francisco Gonzalez. No weapons, no firearms. Mr. Hayes will have to surrender his passport. Those will be in the event that Mr. Able to make bail, those will be conditions of a bail. And additionally, we will ask for a curfew. There will be a curfew from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. Have a seat, Mr. Hayes. Anything else from the state?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Public defender, anything else?
No, Your Honor.